the bench. And Kath, there's some really exciting talent out there, and one you can't really look past is Carly Johnson. How impressed have you been with her starts the season?
She's been super impressive for me this season. She's a youngster. She's, in her third year in the Liberty A League, and to see her scoring goals. Last week she scored the winner against Brisbane Roar, and then she scored an equaliser against Melbourne City a few weeks back, which was an absolute cracker. So it's exciting to see her, and it's great for the future of Australian football to see her in this team as well.
Absolutely. She looks like a player playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. And for Western Sydney Wanderers, a player who's not new to the competition, Sham Khamis. She's still the #1 choice goalkeeper, and how important is she for this Western Sydney Wanderers side?
Sham is very important for this team. She's a true leader. She's been fantastic in this competition for many, many years. Having Sham in your squad as a goalkeeper is like having two #1s. So to see her get her chance and to hold this #1 spot, especially after having Kaylee Collins there, which has been brought in as an international, is fantastic for Sham.
And something about Sham Khamis that, is easy to spot in her game is she's quite a vocal goalkeeper. And for a young side and still trying to get that first win for the season, how crucial is that kind of leadership?
Very crucial to have someone like Sham in goals, someone that knows this team, that knows a lot of these players. She plays with a lot of these girls in the NPL as well, but she's a true leader. The way she leads the team around, it's fantastic, and she's just so fantastic to have as part of your team.
Sham Khamis is just joining that final huddle, and our referee for this afternoon is Azusa Sugoni from Japan. She'll be in charge of this game. She was in charge of the Central Coast Mariners game last weekend. So it's good to have new referees in the game as well. Referee is always right here in this broadcast, right, Kath?
It depends who I'm talking from. As a coach, as a commentator, of course, it's fantastic to see Sugino in the Liberty A League and this exchange program that's taking place between Japan and Australia at the moment. It's just great to see, young females from both countries get the opportunity to be able to ply their trade at the highest level.
Absolutely, and we are underway here in this fixture. Find out who is the best of the West. Wanderers do get us underway. Ball on the far side. It will go out for a throw in. Sato to throw it in. Taranto. Now Cern. See, Grace Marr made the move in the off-season from Canberra. Distribution so important, that pass. Nicely placed to Carly Johnson. Feeding it through to Keane. If she can keep it in play. Just a little bit too heavy with that pass, but we just saw from Grace Marr that quick release out and to give them an option going forward, Western United.
We know Grace Marr's technically very, very good. For me, to see her playing at centre-back is a bit of a waste, but I guess for Western United, that's the best position that they see her for this team. You can see already that Western United are on the front foot. They're looking to start this game off positively.
And we just saw Western United head coach Mark Torcaso, also head coach of that Philippines women's national team as well. It will be that international break next week. Gordon. Back to Sham Khamis. Going to have to reset here. Makomsky. Back to Khamis. Now Keane with the pressure. Looking to make their way out, but Johnson's able to pick that pass off. Swinging it across and intercepted. Now Gordon. Postelakis. Sending it back dangerously across, and need to work their way through this bit of traffic. And they've given it straight back to Western United.
You can see here a little bit of a change for Western Sydney Wanderers. You can see Amy Harrison that's dropped in to the centre-back role. Looks like they're looking to change up formations here. Looks like it's a 3 at the back at the moment.
See how that pans out for Robbie Hooker's side, who just flashed across your screen. Obviously came in quite late in the off-season, in charge of this Wanderers side. You can imagine about a quarter way through the season, he's maybe starting to figure out what his side needs to look like going forward. Taranto Papadopoulos. Ma. Just going to send it back to Hilary Beale, who I did mention her second game back in goals. And she started last week like she had that incredible season last year. A clean sheet, so important to have a goalkeeper with such experience. And that Western United side had a lot of change in their defensive structure with Sydney Cummings leaving and now Grace Smart. And Hilary Beale didn't start this season, now she's back. A goalkeeper like that, how much does that bolster their chances of getting back to where they were last year?
Having a sort of goalkeeper like Hilary Beale, and obviously the season that she had last season, it's fantastic to see her back in the Liberty A-League and playing for Western United. You could see in those first few weeks they were missing a little bit of leadership at the back, and I think, Hilary coming back into this squad gives the squad also a lot of confidence as well.
Hilary Beale, she spoke about in the midweek how important it is to get that dynamic with the two centre-backs in front of her, and a clean sheet last week would certainly build the confidence and the trust amongst those three. Savitsky battling there and fouled in the process, so it'll be a free kick to Western United. Hakan Savitsky, Philippines international. Johnson now driving through the middle, got Keane there, now able to pick it up. Hannah Keane sends it across, and too much on that for Lagazo. Just messing around here, Western Sydney Wanderers, and it's going to come straight back through Papadopoulos. Now Johnson, back to Papadopoulos. Western Sydney have done well to force United back. Savitsky switching the play to Sato. Taranto with that dangerous cross in, and Sham Khamis with a strong fist, but falls to Johnson, and that shot flashes across goal. Matos setting it as far away as she can, but it will come back through Western United. Sato. Lagazo leaving it for Taranto. Now to cross back into the area. Johnson at the far post and gets a boot to it, but calmly collected by Sham Khamis.
Yeah, you can see here what a great cross there from Taranto, and Sham Khamis, what a fantastic save, and Carly Johnson's in the right place at the right time. And Carly Johnson has started this game off on the front foot. She's been fantastic, and you can just see when you're scoring goals and you're playing well, the confidence just grows.
Gordon sending it forward for Sophie Harding to use her pace, but she'd gone too early. I just want to go back to Carly Johnson. You look back on last season, she maybe at times was a little bit hesitant to make that pass, a young player, but this season, as you've mentioned, she's playing with so much confidence, driving at plays, which we didn't see as much of last season.
Absolutely. It was a massive move for her to leave Sydney FC, a championship winning team, and move to Western United. And sometimes things are a little bit shaky for these young players, but we've got to understand that this is her third season in the Liberty A-League, and the more you play, the more confident you get, and I think that shows in her game that, she's playing more, she's getting good game minutes, and her confidence is growing, and she's had a fantastic start to this season.
Should be looking to add to her goal tally. It's Grace Smart. No, she's not afraid to score some goals, and some wonderful ones at that. Postelakis at the throw-in. Gordon. That ball sent forward, but Papadopoulos able to direct it off target.
You can see here the Western Sydney Wanderers are playing with a back three at the moment, with Danica Matos and Alexia Postelakis coming up higher up the pitch as well, which is going to be interesting to see how Western United oppose this in transition, because there's going to be some clear gaps there in this match.
We'll be looking to exploit and get a goal More goals from open play, Western Sydney Wanderers, so hopefully that change of formation allows them to do that. Savitsky, back to Ma. Papadopoulos now, heavy touch, but made it work. Gordon. Now Lagazzo, and Vicky Bruce is fouled, so come back for a free kick. Kostelakis. Through the middle go the Wanderers. Gordon, intercepted by Cern. Now Savitsky. And got held up there, didn't have any outlet passes, but it's worked out for Lagazzo. Now out wide to Taranto. Got Keane through the middle. Still Taranto. Lagazzo now. Left to Fasado, and it's just had to halt their play. Adriana Taranto on the ball. Still trying to make her way through. Manages to win her side, a throw in. Sato with that ball in. Johnson got the header. Now Keane with the shot, but straight into the hands of Karmas.
Everything seems to be falling onto Carly Johnson. Every time a ball gets played into the box, she's there to get something on it, and you can just see the excitement from her. Once a ball gets played in, she's just looking to get herself onto the ball there in the box, which is great. Great save there by Karmas.
Good save from Karmas, and Madison McComsky job to get the block from the initial attempt. Lagazzo. Now Cern. You can see Western United absolutely dominating the possession, and how important when you're seeing a possession stat like that is it for Western Sydney Wanderers to be patient and disciplined in their structure.
Absolutely. We know that Western United are a ball-playing team. They get on the ball. You can see now that they're quite patient, and you can see in Western Sydney Wanderers formation setup, it's something new for them. It's something that the players, I'm sure, would have trained a lot within the last couple of weeks at training, but to do it in a game and to be able to execute it, it always takes a little bit once you get into the rhythm of the match.
Still Wanderers here. Kostelakis. Yunus. Gordon. Still Gordon, worked her way through traffic, and that attempt didn't fall. Harding, now Savitsky. Lagazzo. Transition opportunity here for Western United. Sato, back to Lagazzo. Taranto. Savitsky. Trying to pass their way through this trouble, and Wanderers have done well to knock the ball away, but given away cheaply to Cern. Can hear the Western Corps making as much noise as possible, and that's what you want from those active supporters, these sorts of games. Is this, are we calling this a derby, or is it not yet?
I don't think it's a derby. We're too far away from each other for it to be a derby.
The Battle of the West? I don't know. I'm trying hard here. I don't know.
Whatever it is, let's just get a few goals into this match so we can make it a bit of an exciting one.
Absolutely. That's all we want from the football at the end of the day. That ball has fallen, but Wanderers had made their move just a little bit too early. Of course, LaRue had a good game against Melbourne City 2 weeks ago. Obviously, the Wanderers didn't play last week, but she was certainly getting to some advanced roles in when they were able to counter and set up Sophie Harding for the first goal. And Western United 81% so far in the passing accuracy. They've had a lot of easy passes to make, just haven't got the final release ball yet. Might be coming soon. Savitsky But Carly Johnson free in a world of space. Now keen, as you can see, Johnson. Postolakis did well to intercept that pass. Taranto. Papadopoulos. Now Mel Taranto trying to play it out to her sister, and too heavy that pass in the end. So it will be a goal kick.
You can see when Western United do win the ball back quickly, they're just got to be able to break into wide areas. You can see here from one Taranto to another, trying to find their sister in the box, and it was just unfortunate, a little bit too much on that ball.
Andres trying to play it out from the back. Matos down the line. And Sophie Harding just wasn't able to read that pass, and there's 5-3 shots so far, but Western United trying to break away. Cern. Now Ma. Johnson. You touched on potentially wanting to see Grace Meyer in a more advanced role. Is it that passing ability that you think that would maybe favour Western United if she was to play in that kind of role for them?
Of course, we all know that Grace Meier's got fantastic technical ability. We know when she gets higher up the pitch that, you know, she can score cracking goals from anywhere. But looking at this Western United team, who do you take out of there to actually put Grace Meyer in? You want to have your best players on the pitch, and as we could see just previously, when Grace Meyer's on the ball, to be able to play that little ball into the middle of the pitch and break, you know, defences up, I think it's a fantastic addition to the Western United team.
Cern under pressure from Rue, and a little bit too eager there, Kush LaRue in the end, so will be a free kick for Western United. Just a little bit clumsy there in the end.
A little bit of a soft one there, I think.
I might have to agree with you, but referee's always right. So we'll stick with the referee on this one. Gordon. Eunice. And for young Talia Eunice, her first start, how much adrenaline would be running through her right now, just trying to get a good start in this game.
Absolutely. Starting your first game in the Liberty A-League at the age of 15, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of nerves in there, but I love that she's, you know, working through that midfield and holding her own, and, you know, this is the start of a long career ahead for Talia Eunice.
A ball across, and Makomsky get a foot to it. Now Postolakis. Down the line to Harding. She's got pace to burn, and Grace Meyer alongside her. Still Sophie Harding running out of space, and that pass was easy enough for Alana Cern to pick up. Johnson. And Keane. But United just backtracking a little.
You can see here with Western United just controlling the game and waiting for their moment to be able to break the defences. But once they go to one side, they've got to look to switch out to the other side as quick as possible to be able to exploit Western Sydney Wanderers in those wide areas. You can see here in the passing statistics here, Western United 111 passes to Western Sydney Wanderers 61, and you can see the way Western United's controlling the game, and you can see that the Western Sydney Wanderers aren't having much luck in terms of holding possession at the moment.
Yeah, a long afternoon for the Wanderers if they can't get the ball at their feet and dictate the pace of this game. Johnson just mistimed that touch, so will be a Wanderers throw in.
Western Sydney Wanderers are definitely setting up here in a 3-5-2, something different for this team. Looking at Amy Harrison, that's dropped a little bit deeper, that's sitting in the middle of Vicky Bruce and Makomsky as well. So this is going to take a little while to get used to as well. When the girls have just started to play this in this competition, it takes time.
Johnson. Still Johnson. Nice bit of footwork. Still Johnson. Now it's fallen away for her. Got a little bit of space. Cutting it back for Keane. She get her boot to it and just skied it in the end. And here's Carly Johnson once again, dazzling with her footwork.
She's just loving it. Once she gets herself in the box, she's just full of confidence, and it's great to see her wanting to take on players 1v1 and trying to make something happen out of nothing in the box.
We've seen a lot of that in the competition so far. Some more attacking players, a lot more confidence at driving their plays. And we're seeing a lot with the goals this season. Not as many assists, a lot of players creating chances off their own individual brilliance. And that ball's gone out of play in the end. And Kath, I want to go back to the point you made about the formation change. Obviously, we know what it could do for them defensively and getting more numbers in the midfield, but what option does that provide them going forward?
I think going forward, obviously, if you've got 5 players in the midfield and 2 up front, it should really, once they do get into wide areas and are looking for crosses, they should want to have a lot more players in the box. As we've seen previously, Sophie Harding got into that wide area. She's looking to cross into the box, and there's only 2 players in the box. If they're going to play with the 5 in the middle and the 2 up front, you want to be committing numbers forward, especially when your wide players are getting crosses in.
We'll keep an eye on that throughout the game to see if the Wanderers are able to utilise that formation to their advantage. Ma. Now back to Beale. Ball a little bit shallow and caught in between 2 players. Papadopoulos into her side to throw in. Ball across, just eludes, all in the green and black, so will be the Wanderers now needing to be patient to build up play and get some good momentum. Jonas, and given straight away back to Savitsky. See Chloe Lagazzo out there on the pitch. That Tilda's play, you'd like her to get involved in this game more and stamp her print on the game. But Wanderers almost had an opportunity there.
Almost, and this is where Western United can really hurt them in transition, and just unfortunate there. Looks like Carly Johnson's been caught offside, and they need to be a little bit more patient in that ball in behind, because we know that once Western United does break forward, there's going to be areas to exploit in that Wanderers defence, especially in those wide areas.
Postelakis.
You can see here once Apostolakis is on the ball. Again, Chloe Lagazzo's breaking for Western United.
And Hannah Keane just got the ball stuck under her feet, but it was looking like a promising opportunity.
For sure, and Chloe needs to do better in that situation. Once she does win the ball, she needs to be patient, because once they do win that ball in transition, they definitely can exploit that Western Sydney Wanderers defence.
And a defence that obviously is without Claire Hunt from last year. Western Sydney Wanderers now playing with PSG in Europe, and fantastic for her, but it is a massive gap to fill defensively.
Absolutely, that's a huge gap to fill, to have Claire Hunt move on, and what a fantastic move it was for her, and a fantastic move for the club as well, to see Claire go to a massive club like PSG. But I know the club went looking, and they went looking purposely to fill that position of Claire Hunt, and I think they've done great in their recruitment in Vicky Bruce. I think she's a fantastic leader. I think she's a fantastic centre-back, and she's been great for this team, and definitely the real rock of this Western Sydney Wanderers team.
And not only has she been getting involved defensively, but she's been scoring a few goals as well. Scored 2 goals to her name. Has Amy Harrison is currently down and captain of this Western Sydney Wanderers side. You wouldn't want to see her stay down for too long and just limping slightly.
You definitely don't want to see her injured at this point in the game as well, because especially once you are going for a new formation, you need someone like Amy Harrison, your captain of the team, to be able to drive this formation forward.
So we'll wait and see what that turns out to be, and hopefully Amy Harrison is able to continue. But in the meantime, Western Sydney Wanderers do have a free kick, and Beth Gordon is going to take it.
We know how dangerous Western Sydney Wanderers can be from set pieces, especially having someone like the likes of Vicky Bruce that gets up and has scored a couple of goals from there this season.
Gordon sends it across. May fall for McComsky. And left it a little bit too long, and Keane's able to do the defensive work. So those two trading positions momentarily. Johnson. Still Johnson, and that ball's worked its way out of play, so will be a Wanderers throw-in. Jonas. McComsky. Pinched away by Johnson. Now got some space ahead of her. Apostolakis right next to her. Johnson sends it back for Papadopoulos. Johnson now wide. And if she's able to keep this ball in play, do have some options in the middle, but she sends it back to Papadopoulos. Savitsky. Taranto takes the effort and always sailing over the crossbar, but that's that space on the opposite side that you're talking about.
I like the way they got into those wide areas there, and then Johnson gets it back to Papadopoulos, and then they've got that change of sides here. I'd just love for Taranto here to exploit that space in front of her and keep driving forward to be able to attack that space and then take the shot. She didn't need to shoot from so far out.
Maybe a little bit too eager to get that early goal in the game. Apostolakis. Still Apostolakis, she's done well here. Got Matos on the opposite side. Finds her, sends it across. And Mace-Mar able to direct it out of play. So will be a Wanderers corner.
Apostolakis has done really well there. She's won all her battles in that middle of the pitch there. She's got the ball. She's spread it wide out to Matos, and this is what this formation will do for Western Sydney Wanderers. It will allow them to commit numbers forward, to be able to get numbers in the box, to hopefully be able to create something in that final third.
Apostolakis been with Wanderers for 3 seasons now, and she's got so much experience for such a young player. And come back to her. This ball's sent a little bit short and doesn't actually manage to go into play. So will be a goal kick for Western United, and there is Alexia Apostolakis. And how good is it to have, you know, obviously she's so young, but she has so much experience under her belt in that defensive lineup.
She's a fantastic talent. I gave Alexia her debut at the Western Sydney Wanderers when I was the head coach. She was a train-on with our squad. We knew that she had something special about her, and we're in a training match in the pre-season, and one of our players couldn't play, and so we grabbed Alexia and said, "Okay, you're going to be playing against these boys today." And she came out and she played, I think it was about 80 or 90 minutes of football, and was just absolutely just bossed it as a centre back. And we pulled her off the pitch that day and offered her a scholarship, and here she is. She's playing with the young Matildas. She's a fantastic young talent and so humble, and an absolute amazing kid as well.
She certainly has grown in the competition, and she looks a lot more composed on the ball now that she's had a few seasons under her belt. As Kushlaroo gets an untimely slip there. Papadopoulos. Now Johnson up against Apostolakis. Those two young Matildas be seeing a lot of each other.
They sure will be. The young Matildas are off to China tomorrow, where they'll be playing a couple of games over there, and it's fantastic that these young talented players are getting such great opportunities to be able to play these internationals, because it's so important for their development.
Komsky sending it down the line. Yes, Sherwood once again just gone a little bit too early, but in the last few minutes the Wanderers have certainly just been getting into this game a little bit more in attacking phases.
They have been. They've had a couple of opportunities. They've had, you know, a set piece, and they've had a corner as well. And you can be dominating possession in a game, but if the Western Sydney Wanderers manage to get a goal here, that always turns the game on its head, right? It gives them the confidence to be able to keep driving forward.
Certainly does. And a goal would just bring the confidence up for the Wanderers as well. But Western United, they've learnt to not fear going down a goal behind. We've seen that side come back so many times from 1-0 down and manage to get some sort of result if it's not a win in the end.
I call Western United the Fergie team, because they're always on Fergie time. They always get something out of a game. And again, I don't know if it's just the culture and the way the team has been built, and they just never give up, and they always seem to find something out of a game.
Come back to that as Kushlaroo plays it through for Harding. Still Sophie Harding, and she takes that cross and just going across the face of goal, but a decent off chance in the end for Harding.
That was a great chance for Harding. Great little ball in there from Kushlaroo. She's taken a touch a little bit off, but to be able to hit that with that next touch, I think was fantastic. And again, that's what we're saying about Western Sydney Wanderers here. They've got to get into these areas and take their chances.
Need to exploit those chances when they do come, because do you know the Western United will have some chance of their own with the likes of Hannah Keane up top. Jonas, Harding, Matos charging through the middle, out wide to Root, sends it across, and timely interception by Sato.
Great ball there by Kushlaroo. That's a dangerous ball into the box. You just, again, got to get more runners in there. There's only 2 players in there making runs, and once Kushler puts this ball into the middle of that box, you need to get players running across the face of goal there.
Apostolakis to play a set piece. Still short this time, but it's going to come back out for a throw in. Just needs to have that delivery be a little bit deeper to get a better opportunity for her side. Johnson. And taken away by Apostolakis. Jonas. Apostolakis again. Only green shirts ahead of her, and they do manage a throw in. Matos. Harrison has made her way back onto the field, so that's good to see. Sato. Lagazzo. Haven't seen too much of her this afternoon. Keane. Taranto. Out wide to Johnson. Just a little bit behind her, and too much in the end, so it will be a Western United... Western Sydney Wanderers, sorry, throw in. Savitsky got her head to it. Alyssa Taranto now. Papadopoulos. Taranto. All the way back to Ma. Seeing a lot of Western United go forward and then be forced back. Cern. Taranto. Now Cern again. Nice little chip, but didn't work as it was intended, but still retaining possession here, United. Komsky's done well. Harding got Rue out wide. Pass just a little bit heavy, but Rue makes it work, and Jonas not able to get the header in the end. So Western United come the other way. Hannah Keane charging forward, and Sham Khamis made her way out of her box. Cern, and she sent that out of play. So this break of play, and Kiwa Hieda is going to make her way on, and Carly Johnson, tremendous start to the season, started this game well, but she's going to come off in replacement for Kiwa Hieda, so don't know if there's a potential injury. Kiwa Hieda had a fantastic season in the NPL Victoria season, and hopefully Carly Johnson is okay.
Let's hope so for Leah Blaney's young Matildas, that she is okay, because we don't want to see her missing out on travelling to China tomorrow.
Absolutely, and she started this game so well, everything was just falling to her, but it did seem like in the last 5 or so minutes she was slowing down and getting just stuck in a couple of passages.
She must have been feeling something, just must have taken a knock or has some sort of little niggle, and hopefully for her sake she's just playing it safe and, you know, making sure that she's being cautious and not pushing her body to that next level, knowing that she has to travel tomorrow.
Keane making her way forward, sending it across, and a little bit too far for Hieda, but able to collect. Taranto, Papadopoulos, Savitsky, now Lagazzo. Taranto sending it across. King does get a boot to it and falls for Khamis. Don't know what they're asking for. Western United was potential handball or a foul. But play continues. Toss. Just taking their time here, the Wanderers. You can hear Robbie Hooker giving instruction to his side. It's fallen here for Garzo. Thought she was fouled, but Gordon comes away with the ball. Out wide here for Kush LaRue, and too much on that pass.
Just a little bit too much on that pass for Kush LaRue, and you could see there with the Wanderers, once they do win the ball back, again, you just need to be a little bit more patient and making sure that you're hitting Kush LaRue in those right areas, because they could have broken there and been able to exploit Western United.
Hieda. Hieda is most used sub for Mark Torcaso this season, and she'll be looking to make her mark as she's found space here, but just gone a little bit too early there. Almost perfect timing with that.
She's done everything leading up to that absolutely right. You can see her technical ability, the way she gets into good little spaces to be able to receive the ball and then makes that forward run. She just needs to hold her run there just that little bit more.
Kiwa Hieda, another one of those coming from Calder to Western United. Such a strong link, obviously. Calder being the development side for Western United, but certainly has led to a really strong foundation for Western United.
It's such a fantastic model, the way Western United set up this team before they came into the competition. They just set the foundations for Western United, and to be able to have that strong connection with Calder is fantastic.
And not on the same page there with Sophie Harding, so Grace Meyer will let that ball roll out of play.
I don't understand why Grace Meyer lets that ball run out of play and allow Western Sydney Wanderers now set up for a goal kick. I'd want to keep that ball in play and turn and start, start the build-up play again.
Just allowing too many numbers in front of the ball makes it certainly a lot harder to work your way out of the traffic. Garzo for Hieda and not able to control it, so it will be a throw in. And Western United dominating that pass snap, but Western Sydney Wanderers have had some chances and some moments.
Absolutely they have. You can see that Western United are definitely controlling the possession and the passing at the moment, but Western Sydney Wanderers are definitely still in this game.
Cern. Sato. Gordon able to intercept that pass. Ball's coming across, and now the Wanderers able to break free. And that pass just too heavy for Harding, and Mars able to come away with it. Taranto switching the play out wide to Hieda, and that pass was just too heavy in the end.
Just a little bit too much on that, but it's the right idea. That's what she's looking for, winning that ball back early and then being able to exploit those wide areas.
Nearing the end of this first half, Kath, which manager would be feeling the happiest of the two? But we'll come back to that as Kiwa Hieda plays through for Hannah Keane and not able to wrap her foot around the ball.
That's a difficult one there for Hannah Keane. She needs to do better in that area, but I think she's just miskicked that. Great little ball in, but there from Hieda, just with the outside of the foot, and Hannah Keane's actually got more time than what she thought there, but again, great little combination between the two there, and Hannah Keane's gotten onto that ball. Should be disappointed in that herself, I'm sure.
Hasn't got to the same start as she did last year, but, you know, she's always a threat, and Kushlaroo's just ventured offside once again. She's very eager this afternoon, Kushlaroo. A few times she's been called back for offside.
She is eager, but in this situation, she needs to do better in that situation, because you're not going to get many chances to be able to get out in front of goal, and if you can just hold her run that little bit more, it'll allow the Western Sydney Wanderers to be able to get into that final third and have more opportunities.
Papadopoulos. And I'll come back to that question I was asking, which of the two managers will be feeling the happier of the two?
I think Robbie Hooker will be going into the half-time break thinking that his side has done well in these past 45 minutes, because they've done well defensively. They're trying to hold their shape. You know, once they do get on the ball, they have been creating opportunities, and other than the possession stats, you can see that they are creating somewhat opportunities in that final third.
And Hannah Keane ended up knocking that ball into her own hand. Just a victim of her own height in the end there. Apostolakis. Still Apostolakis under pressure from Hieda, and she's done really well to keep that ball in play. Sending across to Harding. Matos now. Got Harding wanting that pass again, and she does get ahead to it and couldn't keep it down and goes out of play.
Apostolakis has done so well there. You can see the way she uses her body to be able to keep that ball in, and that ball into Harding, and then they've got Danica Matos out wide and getting into those wider areas as well. And again, Sophie Harding just off with that shot.
Seems to maybe she got just a little bit too far underneath it and just couldn't have the pace and keep it down. But as you said, Robbie Hooker would be pretty pleased. Not only have they done well defensively, but they've found chances of their own and just need to capitalise on that. Now obviously Western Sydney last year had the likes of Serena Bolden up top, and she was such a presence. Are they missing that sort of player up top this season?
I definitely think that they're missing a prolific striker up top. It's something that this squad has needed for many, many years. I know Serena Bolden came in and made a bit of an impact in the squad, not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well. I think the biggest disappointment at the moment would be Millie Clegg, and having her come back. Obviously, she couldn't play because of the age issue and being an international player, and then coming into the squad and then getting injured. She's out for, you know, a long period of time, and I think she would definitely be the missing link to this team in terms of in that final third and having someone that can create and score goals.
Absolutely. Well, Millie Clegg, one of those youngsters in the competition who've got so much promise, and not only are they missing her, they're obviously missing Amy Chisari and also Caceres in the midfield as well. So those creative links are just not quite there for the Wanderers. But as you mentioned, this afternoon they've certainly done well and created as much as they possibly can.
Of course, and when you come out and you're playing a new formation, that takes time to get used to as well. And again, they got Danica Matos and Alexia Postolakis getting higher up the pitch there for them, and they're trying to create something out of what they can actually field on the pitch at this point in time.
Hoping that maybe they could even total shots is evened up as well, and that's another promising sign for the Wanderers. But if they could get a goal just before half-time, that would really waken them up and push them closer to the win the end of the day.
It's one thing having a shot, but it's another thing having a shot on target. And in this situation, once you do get up into those areas and you get those opportunities, you've got to make it count.
Eunice hasn't been two on target for both teams, but two apiece so far. So at least they're matching them in that stat at the end of the day.
Look, the stats are matching, aren't they? But, you know, when you get into those areas, you want your shots on targets to be a lot higher than only the two.
Yeah, that's something I touched on in terms of the start of this game. These sides are quite similar statistically when you have a look, but Western United have just been a little bit luckier. They're getting goals late in games, and it just hasn't been clicking so far for the Western Sydney Wanderers. But there are some promising signs when you're seeing a side that are sitting middle of the table. There's chances there as Hannah Keane makes her way forward. Now Hieda got space ahead. Hieda, and that shot straight to Karmas. If she would just lifted her head up, she may have seen Adriana Taranto on the far post. Gordon given away cheaply. So we'll come back with Western United.
You can see Hannah Keane, she's done well here. She's driving at the fences. She slips in Hayeda there. And Hayeda, with her touch, if she takes her touch across that defender there, it's a little bit of a different story. Or, again, like you said, get your head up and looking for that ball across goal.
And will be 1 minute of additional time. This opening half of football. It's been back and forth at times. Both sides will be looking to get a goal just before half-time. Would certainly change the team talk. Papadopoulos. Keane with a heavy touch. Yader able to keep it in. And so Race and Sham Karmas has come out of her box, but just sent it straight out of play. So it will be a throw-in for Western United. Doesn't look like either side are too eager to rush the play. Rue. Atos straight to Harding. Tries to feed it through for Apostolakis, but Cern had the right line and able to intercept the pass. And it is half-time here at City Vista Reserve. It's been a back and forth opening half of football for Western United and Western Sydney Wanderers. Both sides have had opportunities, but neither of them able to capitalise so far. It's certainly been a more defensive battle in the end. And be a lot to do in the second half. Both sides are wanting to get the win, but it is currently Western United 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. And we'll take a look at some of the opportunities in the first half.
We could see Taranto getting down that right-hand side and delivering some ball in for Carly Johnson. She got onto a couple of them, but they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
He certainly couldn't, but this chance here for Sophie Harding, she did well, but just not well enough.
It wasn't well enough for her. I think it was a touch that let her down in that instance, but she did hit it, you know, with that second touch, which, again, at least she's having a shot out at target.
We saw Kiwa Hieda make her way on for Carly Johnson. She certainly provided an impact.
This was definitely probably the biggest highlight of the half. You know, Hieda's come on. She's definitely made an impact, and Hannah Keane will be disappointed with that shot on target there.
And you take a look at that chance, and near the end of it for Kiwa Hieda, a shot on target, but maybe she could have done better if she had touch.
Definitely, she could have taken a touch across the face of that defender there, but nonetheless, she's done really, really well. You can see here with the stats that the shots on target are pretty much even. Sorry, the total shots are pretty much even. Your shots on target are pretty even. 3 for Western United and 2 for the Wanderers. It's been a 50-50 match. It's going to be who comes out in the second half now and who can actually put one in the back of the net.
Lots to do in the second half, and we'll be back after to see all the action out. But right now we'll go to the halftime break. And welcome back here to the second half of this fixture between Western United taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. It is still 0-0 after that break, but some opportunities for both sides. Hasn't gone the way at the moment, but looking ahead to some of the fixtures, we've obviously got Unite round here in Sydney. Kath, as a Sydney sider, how excited are you for that fixture in a few weeks?
It's unbelievable for the league to be able to bring Unite round to Sydney and to have so many games being played over the one weekend. It gives, you know, fans the opportunity to be able to get out and watch not only one match, but maybe a couple of matches across the weekend.
And will be in January. And look, those tickets are available now, so look to get them. And obviously this game is lacking some goals, and Hannah Keane, a star striker for the Western United, and Sophie Harding for Western Sydney Wanderers, as we compare those two's first half opportunities.
You can see the comparisons between the both, you know, the number 9s for both teams, and Hannah Keane will probably be the more disappointed of the both of them, with 4 total shots and only the 1 on target. As strikers, when you get those opportunities, you know that you can only get limited chances on goal, and you've got to take your opportunities once you get into those situations.
Certainly, and just moments away from getting underway here in the second half. And there has been a substitute, so we'll look to figure out who that is. But there was an early substitution in the first half for Western United, with Carly Johnson coming off, and it's been told it is just precautionary. She just did miss a few sessions during the week, so just looking after her. And we are seeing the other 15-year-old for Western Sydney Wanderers, Ishia Brooking, getting the nod in the second half, and we'll look to figure out who's come off, but it is both 15-year-olds starting this second half. Sardo. And it is Liv Price who's made way for young Ishia Brooking. So another 15-year-old and promising young talent as she gets on the ball early, but Keane able to pick it up. Harding.
I wonder if that's an injury for Olivia Price, or they're trying to protect her, or maybe a little niggle. I know she hasn't had the greatest of starts of this season. She has had a couple of niggles coming into the Liberty A-League. As we see over the past few years, a lot of these players are playing in the NPL and then playing back-to-back seasons, you know, with the A-League, and it starts to take a toll on their bodies.
Certainly a long season. We saw in the NPL Victoria, some of these colder players didn't participate in the NPL season, and they've taken that time off, and it does accumulate on their bodies, the amount of game time they're playing from, as you said, the NPL to the A-League Women's.
I think that's a smart decision for players to not participate in the NPL if they are playing in the A-Leagues and they are playing big minutes, but it's unfortunate when it becomes a financial thing where they need to play both seasons to be able to live.
Absolutely, and see that foul there on Kiwa Hieda, and just late there and behind from Madison Makomsky, so she does get the first yellow card of the game. Grace Ma over the ball, so might be looking to play it in for the likes of Hannah Keane, but she elects to go short through Alyssa Taranto, immediately under pressure, but taken away from her in the end. So it is Western Sydney Wanderers making their way forward. Harding using her pace, trying to keep that ball in, but even that ball was too quick for Sophie Harding. Savitsky to Cern, back to Savitsky. Cern looking for that pass forward, but not as many options as she'd like, so she sends it down the line to Keane. Lagazzo, the boot to it. And Sardo came in with the high boot, managed to win it. Savitsky. Savitsky still looking for that outlet pass, and Wanderers blocking every single pathway forward, but it's come out through the Taranto sisters. Now Savitsky. Back to Adriana Taranto. Sends it out wide to Hieda. She's able to bring it down. Got Papadopoulos with the overlapping run. Still Papadopoulos. Across to Lagazzo. Savitsky, and that touch heavy. And it's made to work by Hieda. Savitsky again. Got Taranto across. Uses her. Now to the Melissa Taranto. Out to Sato, and just getting a little bit slow there. Western United, and becoming a little bit too predictable. Matos. And Wanderers, Harding, under pressure from Cern, who's done well, but not able to keep the ball in play. And what needs to change for Western United to unlock the defence of Western Sydney Wanderers and get that opening goal?
I think both teams have started this second half a little bit scrappy as well. They just got to get the game under control and be a little bit more precise with their passing. Once they do get into those areas, they need to be able to pick off the right pass. And, you know, once you are in that final third, especially there for Western United, you need a bit of ball speed, you need a bit of combination play. When you do play it, can you look to get a little 1-2 or a third man run to be able to unlock those defences?
Did just look a little bit slow at times, and obviously they want to play the right pass, but when you do that, you allow this Wanderers defence to just get set and block the passes available, as Kostelakis was fouled, so it will be a free kick for the Wanderers.
Yeah, you can just see there's nothing, no malice in that, just it's unfortunate. Alexia Apostolakis has copped that one there, but this is somewhere that the Western Sydney Wanderers can really make something happen from this.
Gordon, that ball straight into the hands of Beale. Had the pace, but just too close and didn't really allow many of her teammates to make a run at it.
It's a difficult one to get onto, and especially if they've prepared for something else and there's no runners making, you know, a run across the front of goal there to be able to get in front of Hillary Beale. You've got to be able to put that goalkeeper under pressure at somewhat.
Kostelakis out to Gordon. And taken away by Savitsky. Still Savitsky with that effort, and wide of goal. But that's Western United we're looking for, just trying to pick those balls up in a higher area to find opportunities.
Of course, and Savitsky there, she's read that well. She's done really well to win that ball off Brooke in there, and she's driven into space and taken a shot at goal, and good on her for absolutely, you know, backing herself in that area.
Taranto, Lagazzo, and kicked off. Eunice, and it's coming back the other way, and Western United pressing a little bit more in this second half. A tactical foul there by Papadopoulos, but referee not going to call it back, and that ball straight into the hands of Sham Khamis.
Are we seeing that right? I'm not sure how that wasn't called a foul. I'm pretty sure she's pulled her back there, but play on, I guess.
Absolutely. I tend to agree with you there. I thought it was going to get called back, and play continues. Lagazzo taken away by Gordon. Eunice out wide to Harding. One-on-one here with Cern. Harding gets the inside and can't wrap her foot around the ball to curl it into that far post. So Western United reset. See Sophie Harding get into those spaces, but just not falling for her as of yet.
That's a real difficult one for Sophie Harding. She gets into those positions, she cuts inside, and she's trying to wrap around it with her right foot there, and that's going to be very difficult to beat Bill from that range.
Maybe looking to see if teammate in support, but Wanderers have got the ball in a nice area. Harding now sends it across, and a good save by Beale. Read it well.
That was a great ball by Matos there. She's played Sophie Harding in and made that forward run into the box. That's exactly what the Wanderers need. You can see here again in the replay, she gets into those areas, that dangerous areas. If Bill actually spills that there, she's in a good position there to be able to pick up some scraps.
Can hear a lot of chatter throughout this game and instructing both their sides to get into the right spot, but we are hearing Robbie Hooker, I think, a little bit more. Eunice, Matos, one-on-one with Sato, and she's done well to knock that ball out of play. Harding, still Harding, but Taranto able to come away with it. Down the line. Still a ball bouncing around, and Western United come away with it. Taranto knows the run of Lagaza, goes back across to her sister. Now switching play out wide to Papadopoulos. She's brought it back onto the inside. And try to feed it through for Adriana Taranto.
You can see the possession stats there, and Western United just dominating that in this second half especially. Both teams have got to get control of this game, and again, once they do get into certain areas, they need to be a little bit more precise in what their decision making actually is, and not rush things.
Absolutely, and you can see in the background those trees are certainly starting to sway as the wind picked up here at City Vista, and it is behind the Western Sydney Wanderers. And this ground, if you've ever been there, when the wind hits, it makes it very difficult. So you'd imagine that ball is not going to be sailing through the air as much. This is Taranto's done well to turn away. Now to her sister. Feeding it through to Keane. She's done well to find the ball in a pocket of space. Sends it back across, and too high for Hieda in the end. And cleared away. So Kush LaRue trying to knock it forward for herself, but Papadopoulos was always in the right position. Sato. Cern. Now Grace Smart. And Western United throw in.
You can see Western Sydney Wanderers setting up defensively. You can hear the instructions from Robbie Hooker on the sideline, making sure that the players are in the right position defensively. But it's once they win the ball that they need to be able to break, and be able to break with some sort of intent.
Absolutely, and that ball was dangerously close to reaching Sophie Harding in time. Hilary Beale, that's why she was #1 goalkeeper last season, Western United's player of the season, beating out Hannah Keane with a fantastic goal scoring record last year, Golden Boot winner. And that ball may just find Sophie Harding now. Still Harding, but Mark did really well to come across.
Mar's done really well there, and Harding really needs to use her pace to be able to take her touch forward and in front to be able to continue on that run. You can see here Harding gets into a good position there as she's beaten them for that running race again, but she's got to get her body in front of that defender there.
Almost looked like she slowed down and just gave Mar that chance to come across and interrupt any chance she had at taking a strike on goal. Fosterlakis will take this corner. would like it to be a little bit deeper than some of her past deliveries throughout the game.
She just needs to take her time here with this delivery.
Send it to a much nicer area, but Keane rose the highest, and Hieda has done well, and fouled by Gordon. And Hieda's still on the ground. Didn't look like there was too much in it, and now she is slowly making her way up.
It was a great ball in there from Alexia Apostolakis, and here Hieda just gets clipped just on the back of the heel there. It's just unfortunate, and that's not a nice one.
Sure, that will hurt tomorrow. Papadopoulos. And Apostolakis did well, but it wasn't collected by her teammates, and now Grace Maher is collected by Apostolakis.
She sure is, and can't you see the excitement on Grace Maher's face when she gets that ball and starts driving into midfield?
She's getting flashbacks to playing in the midfield, and no, she's not afraid to make her way forward. And it's quite interesting about the Western United pair of centre-backs. Alana Cern has spent a lot of time in the midfield in the NPL in the past, and Grace Maher we know in the A-League Women, so kind of playing a flexi role of defence and midfield if they need to. And Sophie Harding progressed too early.
As a footballer, you want to be versatile, right? You want to be able to play multiple positions, and sometimes, you know, when you get beaten in a certain position, you want to be able to be versatile to be able to pick up another spot. We can see here with the offsides, Western Sydney Wanderers hitting 6 offsides at the moment. Again, it doesn't allow you, once you do get the opportunities to get into that front third, you're just giving away missed opportunities.
And does that stat kind of come up in a game when a side is struggling to find goals in a season? They're just a little bit too eager when opportunities do come away, and they do have one here, but cleared away by the Western United defence.
I think it's more so the missed timing of their run, and I think, you know, when you're offside maybe once in a game only, that's fair enough, but when you're offside multiple times and it's the same person over and over, they've got to be having that understanding where they might need to hold their run just that half a second more to be able to get that opportunity.
And the benefit of a longer season this year is it does give teams a greater chance of finally clicking and not losing out on the opportunity of making finals, as well as there being a top 6.
Absolutely. We know it's not a sprint like normally we would be used to. Having this longer season definitely gives teams the opportunity to make their way into the competition, and this is where it's really crucial for teams and their depth of their squad as well.
Absolutely, and there are some players who are currently on the market who are looking for new clubs. The likes of Alex Chidiac. Some people are wondering, is she going to come back to the league? And you're mentioning off before the broadcast, I was like, Alex Chidiac would be great for Western United in that midfield.
100%. If you've got money to spend and you're looking for a player in this league, you're definitely looking at the likes of Alex Chidiac. We know what she can do for teams, and you know, she was fantastic in this league for such a short period of time last season. We know she loves living in Melbourne, so it could be the 3 Melbourne clubs that are fighting it off for her this season.
Absolutely, and I think all 3 of those clubs would welcome her with open arms. She has been with Melbourne City in the past. She was there when Rado Vidicic was coach, and was being with Melbourne Victory the last 2, but this ball's broken out for Adriana Taranto as she takes that strike, and will go out for a throw-in.
There wasn't much else there for Taranto other than trying to take that player on 1v1. There was not much support once that ball does get, you know, passed out to her. There's no one looking for a little combination in that box or anything, so she has to take that shot there.
Here's that link-up play that's missing for Western United at the moment. That ball for Sham Khan. It's just sailing a little bit too far for Danica Matos.
You can see here the passing accuracy. It's quite 50-50 here for them, and it's great to see that, you know, they are being able to hit feet, but you want to see players now being able to start to break some lines and to be able to penetrate, you know, the back fall and start to create a few more opportunities.
Certainly, and this game is calling for it. You can feel like both these sides are getting close, but they're just missing either it's that final pass or that little bit of finesse with that final shot. And one goal may just be all it takes as Kiwa Hieda makes her way through, but it will be a corner for Western United. Have you been impressed with her so far since coming on in replacement of Carly Johnson?
I have been. Her 1v1 skills are superb. I love the way she's got the confidence to be able to take players on 1v1. You can see, you know, physically she's not one of those stronger players, but technically she's very, very good. She gets into some really, really good positions.
Absolutely, and if you watch the NPL Victoria, you would have seen her season there was with Preston Lions the year before, as Lagazzo plays it short. Tamar now sends it across, and too much on that from Grace Murray in the end, but something different. Karmas wanting to get play underway quickly. To Postolakis. Savitsky able to get ahead on it. Now Lagazzo. Taranto. Keane. Still Keane and taken away. Eunice playing it forward for Harding, and it does fall nicely for her. Still Sophie Harding. Got Kush LaRue in the middle, and Grace Smart was right in the pathway, and that pass needed to be a lot better.
Definitely the pass needs to get a little bit harder and firmer across goal there, but in that situation Sophie Harding has done everything to get into that position. As a striker in that area there, you need to be shooting at goal.
Certainly, and just a little bit too eager to be a good teammate. Sometimes you need to be a little bit selfish.
Bit of frustration here for Chloe Lagazzo. She has been a bit quiet this game, and you can just see her frustrations and taking out Vicky Bruce there and receiving a yellow card.
So Gordon sending it in, and Keane does get ahead to it, and lucky enough her goalkeeper was there to collect.
She nearly scored a header at the opposite goal.
It's not what she's after. Hieda holding it up for some more green and black shirts to come across, and that pass needed to be a lot sharper.
She doesn't need to force things there. If the pass isn't on, just keep the ball, circulate, go out the other way, and be patient.
Sato likes to make her way forward. Taranto, back to Sato, back to Taranto. Cern at the feet of Keane, and there was no one there. Just feels like everybody's just a slightly different, maybe on the same page, but on a different line, and just not all working so far.
Hannah Keane needs to read that. She needs to be able to scan and be aware of what's around her. And, you know, when she's picking that ball up at feet, you know, maybe being able to hold the ball up, wait for someone to get underneath her or to make a run forward. You know, use her body to her advantage in those areas. Again, you're thinking that the player's there, but you need to be aware of what's around you.
We see the dates for Unite Round, the 12th to the 14th of January in Sydney. Very exciting. You'll be getting down there, of course, Kath.
100% will be out there. They're going to be on at good times as well, where I can take my sons out to watch some games. And what a perfect time in January, early January. Most people are on holidays as well, and to see games across the three big stadiums is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, and we see Sato just a head-to-head collision with Sophie Harding, but back to Unite round, and will certainly be really good. It'd be great to see a lot of A-League women's games at Leichhardt Oval and there as well. So absolutely get your tickets now and just organise your plans. Go down there with some friends, and if your friends have never seen the A-League women's competition before, or even A-League men's as well, make sure to come and check it out.
Great initiative by the APL to be able to bring Unite round and bring it to Sydney and have all the teams in one city over the one weekend. I think it's super exciting for the fans, and you know, for fans across all the states to be able to come down and make a weekend out of it. You can see here with Sophie Harding, she's done everything right to get into that position. She's come across goal, she's getting into a good position in the box. She needs to back herself from that area there.
Absolutely. Is it maybe a case of she saw Alana Cern and just got put off slightly from taking that shot?
It could have been possibly that she was dribbling, obviously, with her right foot, but in that situation there, you need to just back yourself and put anything behind it and try and get a shot off on target, because anything can happen.
Absolutely, and with enough power, if you're hitting it into the top of the net, it makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper to save it. Papadopoulos. Lagazzo. Hieda. Got Keane making a run through the middle, but did well to block that passing channel. Worked all the way back to Ma. And well, finds Melissa Taranto. Adriana Taranto now, and it is a free kick for Western United in the middle of the park. Sophie Harrison, not quite sure what the foul's called for, but will be a free kick either way.
Amy Harrison was throwing her arms up in the air there. She just seems like she just clipped her a little bit late there. It's just an unfortunate one, to be honest.
It certainly is, and it's not particularly the place you want to be, giving away a free kick. The likes of Hannah Keane in the line, a tall target, you know she can score a header. She does have a good goal scoring record against Western Sydney Wanderers. Has scored 3 goals, 2 in the last time these guys played. Ma whips that ball through, Keane right there, but Karmas saw it, rose and collected.
It's a great delivery there by Ma, but an even better take by Sham Karmas.
Absolutely. Lagazzo. Taranto. Savitsky. And quiet in the second half. Lagazzo just miscued that touch.
You can see here the delivery from Grace Ma. It's just a tad too far forward there for their players to get onto it, and Sham's taking it well.
So that ball's crossing straight into the hands of Hilary Beale. Beale hasn't had too much to do, actually. Neither goalkeeper have had too much to do in this game. It's been played a lot in the middle of the park, and their defences have done relatively well to keep their job quite limited.
They have done that. They haven't really had to make a real serious save in this game, as we've seen that both teams are getting into those final third areas and getting shots off, but it's unfortunate that they're not having to make the goalkeepers make a save.
Haven't been tested, and there is still a decent while left in this game for somebody to have a moment and break the deadlock. Gordon intercept that pass, and he will be a throw-in for the Wanderers. And Apostolak has just been sent back, and players do love to do that, just get a few metres as much as they can before the referee says no, hold that.
100%, you're always getting those couple of steps in wherever you can.
Absolutely. Maybe they got a Fitbit on, trying to get those extra steps. Harding playing it forward for Kush LaRue, and foot race with Grace Ma, and Rue's done really well. Needs to wait for some white shirts in support, and Grace Ma Was beaten once, wasn't going to get beaten the second time, so it will be a throw-in for Western United. And we can see that accurate passes stat is almost double there from Western United.
You can see that Western United just has that little bit more control on this game. They are dominating these accurate passes, but it's once they get into that final third, it's a decision-making of where the players are going and a bit of combination play. If we could start to see a little bit more of that in the front third with a bit more intent, I think you'd see a few more opportunities being created for Western United.
What do Western United need to do in this, like, just over 15 minutes left in this game to get that goal on the scoreboard?
I think once they do get on the ball, you can see that they are trying to find passes, especially when they are building up from the back. But once they do get in that final third, it's about decision making.
And Harding. And has been told that the final third, well, their passing accuracy is sitting at 67% there, and that's not what you want in those kinds of areas.
You don't, and that's why once they are getting into that final third, that they are struggling to be able to create opportunities. You can see here just on the replay there, Brooking getting a little bit excited and, you know, a bit frustrated as well. But it's great to see the young gun getting stuck in.
Absolutely, and two 15-year-olds out there. Well, this year Brooking, I guess, took the record from Talia Yunus a week later, as the new youngest player to ever play in the Liberty A-League competition. But how promising is that? But we'll come back to that as Kiwa Hieda makes her way forward for Western United. Still Hieda's done really well to beat McComiskey. Hieda still going, and that ball across straight into the hands of Karmas.
Again, you can see there, Hieda, she's taking the player on 1v1. She's coming back. She's going again to try and take her on again. But there's no support there. No one to go and link up with her for a little 1-2 or wanting to get on the ball in that dangerous area.
There isn't, and gonna need to find answers soon before it really becomes even more of a back and forth.
You can see here in the replay, she's taken her on, she's beaten her once, and then it's just unfortunate once she gets into that area again, she's just a bit tired in that situation where she just can't get her body around it and be able to put that cross into a dangerous area.
Attempted pass from Hannah Keane, hitting referee Azusa Shaguno. And it'll be a drop ball, but we are going to see a substitution here for Western Sydney Wanderers as the last of the play this afternoon for Talia Yunus. Has had a lively first start in the competition, and Holly Caspers comes in to replace her. And that effort there from Chloe Lagazzo, not far away from really troubling Sham Karmas.
And that's what Chloe Lagazzo has in her locker, doesn't she? She can be quiet all game, but you get her in a situation there and in an opportunity to be able to strike on goal. And we know that she's definitely got that in her locker to be able to score those from there.
Absolutely. We've seen her do it in her return to competition last season. There's long-range efforts. She's not afraid to take that. That's the bit of quality Western United need at the moment to step up. And a silly foul there from Vicky Bruce, so free kick for Western United.
You can see as well here, Vicky Bruce has got to be a little bit smarter in this situation. She's facing away from goal. She's working her way backward. Just be smart and just guide her away.
Gazo gets it and touch on it and calling for a handball, not given. Taranto. Adriana Taranto now. Cern pushing up higher. That ball trying to play it across to Hieda. Savitsky got her body in the way. Now Hieda able to control it out to Papadopoulos. Tries to cross it in and was not to the advantage of her teammates. Harding using her strength to come away with it. Still Harding, and fouled tactically there by Sato. Needed to do that.
Smart little foul there from Sato. If it was intentional, I think she knows that Sophie Harding there is away, and especially with her pace, she's getting one on top. I think it was a bit of a tough one. Could have even been a card there, to be honest.
Absolutely, but play continues without a card. So Bruce to Gordon. Brooking. Still Brooking. Now back to Bruce. So by herself, and could have been 2 fouls there, but definitely the first one was there on Vicky Bruce, as Adriana Taranto does get a card and for that challenge on her.
She's definitely clipped her there. She's just mistimed it and just whacked the one in the ankle there. And again, we don't want to be seeing someone like the likes of Vicky Bruce getting injured for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Very important. She certainly is an important player for them to have, and be hard to replace if she did go down with an injury, but it's good to see she's able to continue what it is. 9 fouls to 11 for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and it's a hallmark of Western United's games. When you watch them, sometimes they are very physical contests and can become very scrappy.
It can. You know, football is a physical game, and you can see, especially in the women's game, you can see the girls, they get really stuck in and wanting to win those 50-50 battles.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a substitution, and youngster Avani Prakash is going to make her way on for number 9, Hannah Keane. So that may be a change of formation that comes along with that. We'll see how that plays out. And Avani Prakash saw her at City Vista when they were taking on Melbourne City. Absolutely fantastic in her debut, dazzling in the midfield. It was close to getting a winner in that game. See what she can do in the final 10 minutes of this game.
Avani's a great young talent. She's got such great technical ability, and her awareness of the game and the way she reads the game is just superb. And to see a young star of her quality be able to get the opportunity. She's a Sydney girl. She's gone to Western United to be able to get into an A-League team. I know that she did trial for a couple of Sydney-based teams, and to see her now be able to get minutes and start to get on the ball in this Liberty A-League, I think it's fantastic for her.
Young 16-year-old. She is on a scholarship contract. I was chatting to somebody from Western United. They said it's not going to be too long before she is on a full-time contract, and it's not surprising with the play when you watch her. She's just so composed for a player so young.
She sure is. She's such a hard worker. She's always working so hard.
And that's been sloppy there from Hilary Beale, and it's Sophie Harding who gets the goal for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and is not what you want so late in the game, but Sophie Harding so aware of her surroundings. She may have just scored the winner for this Western Sydney Wanderers side.
That's a tough one for Hilary Beale there. She has underestimated the pace of Sophie Harding. Sophie Harding's done fantastic here to be able to chase her down, and Hilary Beale just hasn't been able to clear that ball quick enough.
Certainly, and it just took too long on that, and Sophie Harding using her pace read it so well.
You can see here Hilary Beale puts her head down. She's not even seen Sophie Harding coming from her blind side there, and obviously the pace of Harding allows her to be able to get there and close it down quick enough.
So now all to do for Western United. They need to find a goal, and Hannah Keane is now on the bench. So what can they do? Matos.
Western Sydney Wanderers could become Western United's bogey team. They did break the winning streak last season as well.
They did, and they have certainly had their number so far in this game. Lagazzo. Who's going to need to step up, Kath, for Western United if they're going to get back into this game? You did call them Fergie side. They seem to manage to find a way every single time.
We can't write them off just yet. There's plenty of time left in this game. I think the most important thing here is that the Western Sydney Wanderers stay disciplined, stay on the game and look at this lead and see ways that they can actually see this game out.
Absolutely. And how much would that do for Sophie Harding's confidence? Obviously, she's had chances throughout this game. It hasn't fallen, but just her being proactive in her movement has caught Hilary Beale out and now got her side on the front foot and getting closer to their first win of the season.
Of course, it's always great to get goals as a striker, and I think you grow in confidence when you do hit the back of the net. But we know that Sophie Harding's greatest attribute is her speed, and to be able to see her press that ball down and get rewarded for it, I think is fantastic.
Prakash trying to make her way through traffic, but straight at the feet of Harrison. Sato now back to Harrison, who's just going to send it forward for Harding to use her pace. Harding slowing down, sending it back. Brooking now under pressure there from Hieda, and still bobbling around and cleared away by Papadopoulos, but only as far as Makomsky. He's going to switch it out to Matos. And Prakash able to intercept that pass. Needs to find an outlet pass, but bumped off the ball by Matos. Rue. Gordon. Brooking. And that little bit of burst of speed there from Taranto interrupted that passage of play.
Western United here has got to be really composed on the ball. They've got to make it more about the team being able to build up and make their way up the pitch and not make it an individual side of things here where they're trying to do everything on their own.
Absolutely, and they don't have that much time left of normal regulation time, so they need to figure it out. And they just need one moment. They are only one goal down, but it's been tricky for them so far this afternoon. And free kick here. This would be prime Fergie time, wouldn't it?
This is definitely prime Fergie time, and you can't ride Western United off. We know that they've come back in many games to get something out of a game, and there's plenty of time left. They just got, again, they've got to be smart. They've got to make their opportunities and take their opportunities. And once they do get into this final third, again, the decision making of that. You can see here the frustrations on Chloe Lagazzo's face.
Absolutely, and Chloe Lagazzo is the type of player you need in this moment. Her leadership, her skill to find something for her side. Lagazzo with the effort and wide, but a great bit of goalkeeping there from Sham Khamis. Really, really brave.
Very brave goalkeeping there from Sham Khamis. You can see here the delivery from Chloe Lagazzo. She's looking for someone coming across the face, and Avani Prakash there just makes contact with Sham Khamis, and you can see Sham's not very happy about it.
Certainly not, and understandable. And also understandable, Avani Prakash needed to go for it, and he's just a bit of football in the end.
What a great ball in from Chloe Lagazzo here, and again, Sham Khamis is super brave coming out for that ball, and Avani unfortunately has just mistimed that one, and you can see the energy and the excitement on the young footballer looking to get something out of it, and that's what you want from your subs. You want your subs to come on and be able to be energetic and be able to change the game.
Absolutely, and with this pause in play, there will be, you would imagine, a decent amount of time added on. So it's not over for Western United, but Western Sydney Wanderers are getting closer and closer to that first win of the season. And we'll take a look at this chance once again.
You can see here Sophie Harding, as soon as that ball's gone backwards, it was her cue to press the goalkeeper there. And again, Hilary Beale gets her head down, not even seeing Sophie Harding coming from that blind side. And Sophie Harding there using her pace to the best of her ability and be able to get this goal and get the Western Sydney Wanderers in front.
And that goal may just be enough to snap the Western Sydney Wanderers 20 games away from Wanderers Football Park. They haven't got a win, so this may be the goal and the game where they finally turn that around, and we are going to see Gemma Ferris make her way onto the park. See who she does replace. And Bethany Gordon is going to be replaced there. Is that defensive there from Robbie Hooker, Kath?
I think defensively he knows that they've been doing a lot of work. Obviously defensively he wants to close out this game and looking just to strengthen up and be able to see out the rest of this game.
Absolutely. And going to be under a little bit more defensive pressure now. That ball is bobbling around, and Caspers is certainly getting a talking to.
She's probably lucky not to get a yellow card there, to be honest.
Absolutely. Referee being quite lenient with the cards today. Papadopoulos. Hieda. That's a play, and it will be a throw-in for Western United. You see that foul count. Western Sydney Wanderers have certainly made their presence felt throughout this game. Ma. Not afraid to make a run forward. Taranto. Under pressure from Brooking. Prakash. Back to Prakash, and Brooking did well to block her path. Be a nice bit of play there.
Loving that from Prakash, getting on the ball. You see that change of pace, looking for that little 1-2 and wanting to get that return ball. Just unlucky, didn't work out for her there.
And Chloe Lagazo trying to use her experience to push all out of the way, but it will be 6 minutes of added time. Plenty of time for Western United to get the equaliser in this game. And certainly a substantial amount of time for Western Sydney Wanderers to have to hold on and try and get that first win of their season. And Kath, how important of a victory would this be if they're able to hold on, the Western Sydney Wanderers?
This will be huge for the Western Sydney Wanderers, especially for all the girls. We know how grueling pre-season can be, and not getting a win in your first few matches. They've played, now this is their 5th match that they're coming into, and to be able to get a win here will be definitely something that the club and the team will be proud of.
Absolutely, and now they could seal this game as this ball finds its way to Sophie Harding. Kushlaroo in the middle. Caspers, and Beale able to collect. Needs to play it out quickly. Taranto. And did mention at the top of the broadcast, they did narrowly miss out on that loss to Melbourne City 2 weeks ago, losing 4-3. They were in that game at times, and to build on that, obviously they had the week off in between, but a lot of confidence must be flowing through that team, saying we can compete with some of the best teams in the competition.
Definitely, you can see that the girls never give up. They're trying their hardest to try and get something out of games. It's unfortunate sometimes things don't fall for you. Obviously, they've had a lot of disruptions over this season with the head coach leaving and now the assistant coach that just left most recently. So that's not easy on a team as well.
Papadopoulos. Hieda. Got space on the inside. Hieda has done well, but had to go back to Papadopoulos. Still Papadopoulos, and knocked away by Apostolakis. Savitsky going to bring it back the other way, but Casper's still going. Well, Kushlaroo up ahead. Still Kushlaroo now. Just one-on-one with Hilary Beale. Kushlaroo seals the win for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And that's exactly how you finish a game off. A nice bit of play. Western United were pushing but left space on the other side for Kush LaRue to seal the victory.
That's a great finish by Kush LaRue. You can see here Holly Castus has done well in the middle of the pitch there, and to be able to play that ball in behind for Kushla. And Kushla's been great all game. I think she's worked super hard, and she's taken a great touch forward there to be able to set herself up for that strike. And as you can see here in the replay, she gets that touch in, she sets herself up and hits the back of the net very sweetly.
Absolutely, and she had Grace Marr beaten for pace, so it was all about that finish, and she was excellent in that. So if Western United can get a draw out of this game, would be the ultimate Fergie time, but you'd have to imagine the Western Sydney Wanderers have certainly done enough to get the 3 points this afternoon.
I think they have. I think this is what happens when you're 1-0 down. Western United has no, disadvantage there. They have to push forward. They have to get numbers forward to try and get something out of the game, because you lose 1-0 or you lose 2-0, it doesn't matter. You're still losing. So.
And it's going to be another youngster from the Western Sydney Wanderers ranks, Ella Abdul Masih, making her way onto the park, and just trying to see who came off for her, but we'll confirm that for you. Masih straight into the play, switching it out here for Matos, up against Sardo. Matos has done well to beat Sardo, sends it across, and Beale with an important touch, almost getting a third there, Danica Matos.
Great strike there from Danica Matos there. She's done well. She's another one that's been working super hard, especially defensively all game. She doesn't generally get into those positions, but to back herself and to try and shoot from there is also fantastic.
And it is the last goal scorer, Kush LaRue, who's made way for Abdul Masih. One of those promising young players in the Wanderers ranks.
Absolutely. Ella's been with the team for a few years now. She was a train-on to start with, and then she got a scholarship contract as well, which is great to see. And a great Western Sydney young talent, goes to Mamre Anglican College as well, where she's in part of the football program there, and into year 12 now, and getting on as a young footballer. It must be so important, obviously having players from the area that represent the club and really get what it is to be a part of the Western Sydney Wanderers. I think that's what the Western Sydney Wanderers is all about, and we need to be able to get this young talent and start nurturing them and showing them the ways of Western Sydney. If you look at the Liberty A-League and you look at the likes of how many Western Sydney talent is out there, I can mention a couple here. Rihanna Policina, she's been born and bred in the streets of Western Sydney, and she's playing at Melbourne City. Daniela Galich, all these girls have grown up there. We need to make sure that the talent stays within the Western Sydney region.
And that could be the new future of the Western Sydney Wanderers, but for the moment they are so close to getting their first win of the season. And Western Sydney Wanderers, a hard-fought game. Sophie Harding, Kush LaRue getting on the score sheet to separate them from the Western United side, and Robbie Hooker coming in late in the pre-season, getting his first win as head coach of this side. And it's all over here at City Vista. A fantastic afternoon for the Western Sydney Wanderers, getting their first win of the season. Sophie Harding made it 1-0, and then Kush LaRue sealed the deal for this side. But it was quite a difficult afternoon in the end, but they got the 3 points, and that's all that matters, Kath.
It sure is. You're going home with 3 points. It's a long trip to Melbourne. I think the Western Sydney Wanderers have got to be really ecstatic with this win. We know we could see in the game could have went either way, and the Western Sydney Wanderers took their chances.
Absolutely, and it finishes Western United 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 2. And we'll take a look at some of the highlights in this afternoon's fixture.
We could see here here's the opening goal for Sophie Harding. Again, she's done really, really well defensively to be able to press that ball. That's a far press for her to go up against Hilary Beale, and she's done really, really well to win that ball and put it in the back of the net and give her team the lead.
Absolutely. She had some other more difficult chances, and that's probably the easiest one. A lot of hard work involved, obviously, but a simple tap in the end. You can see the relief on her face once she got that goal. And the second goal here, Kush LaRue finishing it off.
Holly Casper's there. You can see she wins her 50-50 battle in the middle of the pitch. She puts a great ball in here for Kush LaRue. Fantastic the way she sets herself up with her touch, and the way she strikes that ball and hits it in the back of the net is absolute world class.
Absolutely. Kush LaRue had a good week when they played Melbourne City, and now she got herself a goal and sealing the deal for her side. But a fantastic afternoon for the Western Sydney Wanderers, getting all 3 points, and be interesting to see what the stats say about the game.
Everyone always talks about possession, and you can see here Western United had majority of the possession in this game. The shots, the total shots are quite even. Shots on target, 6 apiece. But at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances in front of goal, you can't win games. And the Western Sydney Wanderers have done just that today.
Absolutely. And obviously, don't forget, early January, Unite round. 3 days, 12 matches, all teams here in Sydney. Must certainly have to come down and watch it.
You sure do. Parents are always looking for things to do in the school holidays. This is a perfect opportunity. Get your tickets now. Get your kids out to Unite round.
Absolutely. And Catherine Orley, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been Pure